Okay, you guys know that I love Canva. It's one of my favorite tools. It's actually one of the few tools that I see the benefit of paying for a pro or premium version. I get so much out of it. And so when they reached out to me recently and asked me to do a video about their Canva Docs. Now they've had Canva Docs for a while, but they've been changing it. And when they asked me to do a video, I just thought, oh, it's time for another honest review. It's been a while. And I've done a couple of these, I don't want to say honest reviews necessarily about their other Magic AI tools, but we've looked a little bit at Magic Write. We've looked at all the Magic editing tools. I use those all the time. Not so much Magic Write, but I definitely use the editing tools all the time. But I was super excited to check it out and kind of partner with them a little bit on this particular video. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be looking at their Canva Docs, all the things that they are doing with it. And honestly, I'm personally going to be evaluating, is this going to start to replace ChatGPT for me? Because I don't know, it might. But before we dive into this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that little notification bell so that you never miss a tutorial or upload. Okay, so as with most of my honest reviews, I have not looked at this at all yet. We're going to look at this together, play around with a few things. I definitely have a couple of things that I am specifically going to do with it that are things that I usually do with ChatGPT because I want to be able to compare the two. Because I've told you guys in the past that when it comes to AI, it's really important that you put the attention and effort into training, ideally one specific AI tool to know you and to know your business and your values, because then it's going to be the most helpful. It's going to give you the least generic responses and the most brand specific ideas and suggestions, and just be better able to brainstorm things with you. Now, in the past, I have loosely given Canva a brand voice for me, but I have not spent a whole lot of time like training it and letting it update its memory on me. And honestly, I don't even remember exactly what brand voice I gave it back then. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that first. We'll look at that together, and maybe I'll be updating that before we even dive into using their Docs tool. But while I'm doing this, I want to know from you guys in the comments, which AI tool have you been training in your business? Are you using ChatGPT? Have you been using Canva Docs? Are you using something else? Because I know there are lots of other options out there. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and what do you love about it. Okay, let's dive into this. Okay, so we're going to start with the one page that they sent me. This is kind of just telling us what we're supposed to expect out of Docs, what it's capable of. So I will make sure to link this in the description and everything so that you guys can go and check this out for yourselves. But let's just take a quick look at what it says it can do. Because we've done, like I said, we've used and looked at Magic Write before very, very minimally. And basically what we saw is a tool that can generate text for you. You can give it kind of a guide, you can give it a prompt, and it will generate some text. And it did a pretty good job, especially because it was kind of earlier on in AI. I mean, obviously AI has expanded a lot in even just the last couple of years. But let's see what Docs is capable of now, because I could see just even in this little screen thing that's moving around that it's actually doing a lot more than that. So it's actually saying that it can turn your document into a presentation, which honestly, on the corporate side, that's pretty amazing. It can use a template to like format your information. We're not going to be doing all of this kind of stuff. We may look at it a little bit, but primarily my goal is to look at this as a potential replacement AI tool. But we will look at some of this. We'll try turning something into another format like they're doing, maybe insert a photo or something, because I can see that we can do all kinds of stuff. So yeah, maybe we'll take something and turn it into a presentation. That I could see would be kind of cool. And they do already have like other tools that will automatically generate a beginning, like a template for you, a brand template for a presentation. But to be able to take something that has like this kind of detail and turn it into an actual presentation is kind of cool. So maybe what I'll do, see if I can, maybe I'll take one of my outlines and stuff from a previous video and drop it in here and see what happens if I turn it into a presentation. That's actually kind of a cool concept. So we will definitely try that as well. Let's see, what else is it capable of doing? Business proposals, memos, meeting minutes, questionnaires, project proposals, documents, personal planners, to-do lists. I mean, this is a lot. Lesson plans, if you're a teacher, that would be super handy. Meeting agendas. I mean, a lot of this you can see they're gearing I don't want to say a lot of it, but they are gearing towards more of a corporate perspective. Canva has definitely started leaning heavier and heavier into the corporate side of things. I know I came into it as an entrepreneur. I've never really used it in the corporate setting, but I'm also not in marketing. I'm not really in the area of a corporate setting where I would use a tool like this necessarily, but seeing what all it's capable of, I can certainly see its benefit there. Bring the power of design to your docs. It'll bring the same color movement, eye-catching visuals you usually reserve for presentations into your documents. Okay. Internal documents, doing a writing assignment, pairs your favorite word processing features with the ability to supercharge your content with impactful, engaging visuals. Cool. We all know that well, maybe we don't all know. Canva is capable of also designing and creating a website. I'm guessing it could also probably design like an email template. Now, I typically do that in my platform, which, as you guys know, is Kit, but I could see this being a great place to kind of like scope that out and maybe then be able to import. I don't know. That like actually kind of gets me excited to see what the possibilities might be there. But I love that they have the magic write capability, so we'll see how that has maybe expanded or improved, upgraded in the last couple of years, because it has actually been a couple of years since I did a video on magic write. Save the tone of voice and apply it to future magic write drafts. So that's great because it's showing us not all AI is really learning you as much, right? Some of it is just kind of going to stay relatively generic, and others are building a memory on you. And so it's clear that this is building a memory on you. Docs made for multimedia. So if you want to bring more design in, bring in photos and things like that. Okay. Drag and drop editor. Well, I mean, Canva's editing has always been very intuitive for me, at least. So I could see how that would be really handy because typically, now again, I haven't done this in a while, so maybe it's gotten better as well. But like, I think back to my days of trying to make anything that would have visually popped like this, or even like a designed resume in something like Microsoft Word. And let me just say, it's not super simple to make it multimedia and design. In fact, I've seen some really funny video memes out there of like what it feels like when you're trying to do something like that in Microsoft Word, how like you move a photo a tiny bit and like just everything else is out of whack. Definitely Canva is far superior in that way. So I could see how that would come in really handy, being able to make those kinds of things, make resumes and whatnot in Canva. In fact, actually not that long ago when I was job hunting and everything, I did do a version of my resume in Canva and it was much easier. And then of course their collaboration, if you're working with a team, which I am not in Canva right now, you can comment on things back and forth. So that's cool. And I do use their app all the time. I know some people don't like it. They feel like it's harder to edit in there. It was a bit of a learning curve for me. And there are definitely times where, you know, I prefer to be on a desktop, or if I need to just like very delicately move something, I'm definitely not going to use my finger and drag. I'm going to go down to the nudge tool because, yeah, it's definitely better to do the nudge tool in that case. And then connect your content compatible with all your other designs. So that's cool. So you could embed an existing presentation or social post or whatever into a doc. That's pretty neat. And you can do it all in one place. Very cool. Share your work. Yeah. So the ability to share it. Now, I know some of this stuff, some of these insights and things are only available in pro features. And in fact, I think a lot of the magic tools, I think there might be a way to kind of like test them out, like a little bit of a trial run if you are in a free Canva account, but like a lot of it is definitely in the pro account. So I will put a link below. It is an affiliate link. I always tell you guys when it is. I've loved Canva for a long time. I've been affiliate for them for a while. So I will put a link below that you can do a trial of Canva Pro so that you can just check it out. And if you decide to upgrade, yes, I will get a little bit of compensation from them on the side, but no extra cost to you. So it's a great way to support my channel if you do already want to explore Canva Pro. And then, okay, so you can turn docs into decks. Yeah, we talked about that. So we'll do that. We won't look at engagement insights because there won't be any, right? Because I'm just creating this and I don't have a team, so there will be no engagement to look at, but that is there. I do remember seeing that in their last, I think it was their last Canva Create, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so we can start inspired with a template or something like that. Maybe we'll come back to this, but I'm more interested right now in just kind of jumping in and doing things on our own. So we're going to do that. You can see here I've got my ChatGPT prompt available because I am going to be comparing hopefully apples to apples here a little bit. But the first thing that I mentioned I wanted to do is look at the brand voice that I gave this. So in ChatGPT, they don't call it a brand voice anymore. I think they used to. Now it's more like a personalization of chat. And so you're able to tell chat how you want it to behave. Like, what role is it playing in your business or in your life or whatever. And so I've done that with chat. And then I've also given it some additional information about me and my values, what I believe, all of that. With Canva, it was more of a brand voice. And so I treated it in a slightly different way back then. But just so you know, if you're looking for your brand voice, that is a pro feature because it is part of the brand kit, which is a pro feature. So you're going to come into your brand kit, and you can see here we've got easy access to all the different things that we have in our brand kit, but we've got our brand voice. So we'll just go straight down there. And you can see here, I said, this was a couple years ago now. So yes, I am 45 now, believe it or not. 43-year-old woman based in Idaho, but from California. I don't know why I thought that mattered, but obviously a couple years ago I did. I'm a business mentor who helps solopreneurs create simplicity and freedom in their businesses using affordable automation. Still true. I believe in Jesus and I love to sing. Still true. I can talk about Trello, Notion, email marketing, and business automation for hours. Definitely still true. I communicate in a professional, conversational tone. Responses should be relatively short. I still agree with all of that, but I haven't said any of that to chat in a while, I don't think. But it knows that about me. So let's go take a quick look at what ChatGPT knows about me. So you can see here that I have told Chat to act as a business consultant to me. I want it to primarily be a marketing expert with YouTube, podcasting, email marketing, because these are the things that I prioritize in my business. And I gave it the similar expertise to me in working with small businesses and helping get more engagement, stuff like that. So that is something that I don't really see as something that we should put into the Canva brand voice. But coming down here, this is what ChatGPT should know about me. And so again, this is more like who I'm talking to. And so I think that I'm going to try, just so we get some apples to apples, I'm going to copy paste this and update my Canva brand voice to match. I feel like it would be most helpful if they both had the same instructions, right? So we're going to go ahead and hit save there. And I don't know how that's going to impact things, but we'll find out. So now we're going to come here and go to create, and we're going to go to docs. And we're going to come right in here. And the first thing I want to play with, because this is what I'm most curious about, is this magic write capability. So one of the ways that I use ChatGPT the most often, because it helps me be more efficient, is that when I finish filming and editing a video for YouTube, whether it's the podcast, a tutorial, whatever it is, I always upload a transcript of my edited video into Chat. And then I have a prompt ready, which actually I don't even need to use anymore because Chat has learned. I can just say, give me my YouTube assets, and it knows what I want and the format that I want things to be. So I do have that prompt, but what I'm realizing right now as I'm thinking about this is that I don't see any way that I can upload my transcript so that it would be able to use my words to generate like a description and find keywords and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like maybe I could take a transcript and like copy paste it in and then ask it to do that, but I don't know. I'm not really sure if that will work the same way. So I'm curious, and so let's find out. So we're gonna go ahead over to my ChatGPT prompt. I'm gonna come in here and grab the prompt itself. We're gonna start with that, where I tell it basically this is what I'm going to want. Oh, I don't need this to be a heading. Hold please. Let's move back here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in here. I'm going to go ahead and add in here using the video, transcript below. Please give me okay, so we're just adjusting that a little bit. And then, oh, wait. No, this isn't where I want to put this. I'm going to want to put this in Magic Write. So let's go ahead. We're going to take that. See, this is, you can tell I am just actually doing this for the first time. I have not actually looked at any of this before, because this is me like realizing, oh, wait, I have to do this first and then that first. Okay. So now I'm going to go in and find my most recent transcript. So hold please, let me go grab my most recent video transcript. Okay, so this is from last week's tutorial. Again, I have no idea how this is going to go, but I'm going to go ahead and just paste the transcript, and it should be, why is it only showing one page? That seems very short. Oh, it's doing a really long page? Okay, hang on, let's see. Is the end the end? Yeah, okay, so it's just calling it one page, but it's really more than one page. So now I'm going to come back here and grab that updated prompt that I created. And I don't know, honestly, if it's going to be able to do like the design, because I ask also for Canva design thumbnail ideas. So I don't know if it's going to be able to do that. So let's just find out. So we're going to go ahead and put our prompt in there, and I'm going to go ahead and hit generate. And let's see what it does. Okay, so it is capable of doing what I want, so that's cool. Okay, it doesn't really know how to format the YouTube chapters correctly. That's okay. If you don't know, well, you could see them in my description below. It's usually like the timestamp numbers and then titles, but this is giving me enough. It's just not really giving me the timestamps, but I think that's more likely because of the fact that it's not really looking at it as a true transcript the way that ChatGPT does. But it is giving me everything I asked for. So, okay, got a video title. Transform your team's productivity with the simple to-do list. Now, what was the title we had? So the title that I had input here was just simple to-do list for Teams Trello 2.0. I can't remember exactly what I used. You can go check out that video if you want to see what I actually ended up using, because that one was likely suggested by ChatGPT. This isn't bad. It's a little longer than I would normally do, so I will probably give it updated instructions, but let's look at the description. Discover how to optimize your team's productivity with our enhanced simple to-do list for Trello 2.0. In this video, we introduce, okay, so already what I don't like is that it's talking in the royal we. I don't do that. I am just me. I am proudly a solopreneur. And so I always talk me, all of that. So I will definitely give it instructions on that. And also this feels a little cold to me. Powerful template designed to streamline task management, boost collaboration. I mean, it's true. Learn how to set up automations, delegate tasks efficiently, maintain visibility on project progress with ease. Perfect for teams and solopreneurs seeking to transform their workflow. Okay, so not bad. It's got some tags. Okay, I'm not in love with all of them. Task visibility, I don't think that would really be much of a tag. Delegation, probably not a great keyword. But it does give me a couple of chapters here. Too many. I always want less than that, but again, I can give it more instructions. And then as far as thumbnail design idea, striking thumbnail featuring a split screen design. On one side, show a cluttered and chaotic desk with scattered papers and sticky notes symbolizing disorganization. Okay. On the other side, a clean, organized digital Trello board with a checklist and automated icons. I could definitely see that this would be a good thumbnail to do. Bold text overlay, Trello 2.0. There's a little too much wording on the thumbnail for my taste, but that works. Vibrant color scheme to draw attention. Include a Trello logo for brand recognition. Okay, so there are things I like about this. I feel like if it could learn me a little bit more, then I could see how this could potentially be something that becomes part of my workflow. So I'm going to say this but, which is how you update the instructions to them. So I'm going to say this but, please shorten the title without losing keywords. Also, oh, hang on. So one of the things that I always do with AI, and I don't know if this is actually like necessary or not, but for me, I prefer it because it feels more like I'm speaking to an assistant as opposed to just like giving bullet lists to a machine. I don't have any idea if it makes any difference in the way that the AI responds, but I just do it. So please shorten the title without losing keywords. Also, I never speak in the royal, we. So please update the description to say personal pronouns like I and me instead of us and we. Please also make the description a more conversational and approachable tone. Oops. Let's fix approachable tone. Okay, what else did I want to update? Oh, yeah. Please also give me fewer chapters. And when it comes to ChatGPT, it took me a little bit of getting the instructions right for it to pop out the YouTube timestamp format correctly. But in this case, I'm not really, well, actually, maybe I will try doing that because it does show in the text that I pasted in here, it does have timestamps. So I'm going to see if I can get it to do that. Fewer chapters and update the formatting to the following YouTube timestamp format of, and that's how those timestamps have to look, right? It has to always be 2 digits, at least 2 digits at the beginning and 2 digits after the colon. I think I'm going to leave that for now. So let's generate and see what it does differently. Okay, so we definitely have a shorter title. See how it's updating? Okay, this is good. This is good. So video title, boost team productivity with Trello. This is actually closer to what I actually used, I think. So that's good. And then let's look at the description. Discover how I enhance productivity with my simple to-do list for Trello. In this video, I introduce a powerful template. So it's listening, right? It's learning. It took all of those royal we things and it turned them into I, me, my, all of that. Just streamline task management and boost collaboration. Learn how I set up automations, delegate tasks efficiently, and keep track of project progress effortlessly. Whether you're part of a team or a solopreneur, this will transform your workflow. Subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Better. It's definitely more conversational. I'd still probably tweak it a little bit more because it still, to me, reads like AI, but it's better. So you can see how we can definitely teach it. I feel like this is better than when I used Magic Write before, but I have to be totally fair. I have gotten better at knowing how to communicate with AI and how to give it better prompts and instructions and things like that. So I don't know how much of it is that Magic Write has improved to this degree or how much of it is me improving to this degree. But either way, it's here. This is definitely better. I didn't tell it to change the tags, so those are the same. And you can see how it's definitely updated our chapters. I'm a little suspicious that all of these chapter marks are directly at like minute marks. That seems very unlikely to me. And the fact that it's like 0, 1, 2, 3, I don't trust those at all. So it's definitely giving me good chapter marks, but I'm going to have to go back into the video and find where they actually belong, because anytime you see chapter marks that are this perfect, don't trust them. Honestly, they're hard to trust in general. Even with ChatGPT, I don't totally trust them. Sometimes when I'm lazy, I just put them in, but then when I go back and watch it later, I often have to update it because it's not, it's got good chapter titles, but they're not always happening at the right time. So definitely I would not trust this. But this is pretty good. I could see how I could work this into something that I could use. What I'm not sure about here, and I honestly don't know how much we would be able to see this right now because this is kind of like an over time thing. If I were to bring in a totally different transcript and give it the same prompt I did originally, would it remember what I've told it here? Because what I didn't see and what I do see in chat and other AI tools is when it's updating its memory about me, it tells me memory updated, right? It didn't say anything like that. So yes, it listened to my instructions. It gave me more what I was looking for, but would I have to adjust my prompt so that it knew that every time? Maybe. Is that the worst thing in the world? No, not necessarily, because if you know that, then you just make sure that your prompt includes all of those important things. Like I want the titles to be short and I want it to always talk from like the personal pronouns and all that. Like not a big deal to add to the prompt. So, okay. So we don't really need that because we're not going to enter that in. But I started thinking maybe we can use this transcript to build a presentation. Because let's say I want to do a training on this template now. I could turn this into a presentation. What I don't really remember is how we do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this little plus sign. Magic Write design, scrollable design, table. Okay, we don't need to add. I mean, that's all like just typical. This is what you can add into a doc. So I'm not super concerned about us doing that. But let's go ahead to the design option. And okay, so this is if we want to add a header to the top. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and grab that, but we're going to do it in my brand colors. Does that work? No, that doesn't work. Okay, but if I were to come in here and click on this, then I'd be able to do, oh, see, but then I'd have to turn it into a gradient myself. Okay. And then let's go ahead and do that. But let's do, yeah, okay, we'll just leave it like that for now. Okay. So, but then how do I add this in now? Because now this is add a page. Okay, save. Ah, okay, so it just drops it at the top. Ah, okay. So that's kind of cool. So then it like just opens up a little like mini design window while you're working on your doc, so you don't have to like have multiple tabs open and go back and forth. I like that. That's handy. Although I'm not really sure. Okay, so we were in the heading section. So what if we weren't in the heading section? If I came in here and I hit this and I hit design, then what would it be pulling up? Okay, still a header. Okay, so basically you can design and add headers and footers and whatnot that way. But how do I turn this into, is this where I go magic switch, transform? Okay, yeah, here we go. So we go to magic. So did you see that? Sorry, I did that kind of fast. So we're going to come up here to magic switch and we're going to go, we can translate it to another language. I'm not going to worry about that right now, but we can transform. And let's see, transform into, let's see what our choices are. So we could do an executive summary. We could do a blog post. That could be cool, actually, to turn videos into blog posts. That's actually kind of neat. Presentation outline, marketing ideas, LinkedIn posts. Wow. Project plan. Dude, guys, this is this is a lot. It can do a lot. I do remember the song lyrics one from last time we did Magic Write. That was kind of fun. Email memo. Okay. So we're going to go with, I do kind of, well, these are just suggested. So let's see if I did presentation slide deck. I don't know if it can do this, but let's just find out because that I think would be really, ooh, it is going to do it. Let's see what happens. Copied and transformed. Okay, let's see what it does. That's it. Okay. Well, that's not exactly what I was looking for. Okay, hang on. Maybe I did something wrong there. Let's go into our project. Let's go back into our document. I don't know that was what we were looking for. So let's try transforming again. Let's see. Let's try something different. Let's see what would happen if we turned this into a blog post. I'm very curious about that. So transform into doc. Let's see. I always love their little quotes that they put when you're sitting here waiting. Okay, so let's go ahead and open. See how this would turn it into a blog post. Okay, so to start with, I absolutely hate the way this header looks. But like we could obviously edit that at any point, I'm sure. We could just click in here. Yeah, we can just edit it and choose something different. So let's go ahead and do something more like this, maybe. Replace current page. And then like I could add a photo here. I know I don't need to do all of this, but let's just do this and see like what we end up with at the end. Let's just go ahead and grab this one. We'll replace that. And then I wish that it was, well, let's see what happens when I hit save, if it's going to update. Yeah, okay, so it didn't, it just took what was in the new design. It didn't update the text here, so that's kind of a bummer because now I would have to go in and like paste that all in instead. So I do kind of wish, Canva, if you're watching, It would be nice if when you came in here and updated that it just updated the design, but kept the text that the AI had generated, because now I would have to do that myself again, which is kind of defeats the purpose of using some of these AI tools, right? But we can see here, it's definitely like transformed. It's turned this into more of a blog post. Wow, that's cool. What I don't love, but I mean, I kind of get it, is that I don't see my voice here that much. It's taking what I said and the information that I provided and turning it into AI generated text. I kind of wish that it was keeping a little bit more of my actual words, because I wouldn't want to use this as a blog post, because now this doesn't sound like me anymore. At least not as much as I would like. I mean, it's not horrible. It's just not as much as I would like. But I mean, it is definitely like summarizing well what we talked about. So the lists that are there, how to use the list, delegating tasks, new requests, backlog. These are the lists that are on the template. This is what I talked about in the video. And then it breaks down the functionality a little bit. Okay. And then conclusion, like I would never end a blog post with a conclusion, but okay. So this is definitely interesting. All right, let's try one more thing here, because I don't want this video to be too crazy long. So we're going to go back to the original transcript, but that was pretty cool. I liked that. Okay, so magic switch, let's try one more thing, and let's transform, because what would be cool for me is to see content marketing ideas, because in my mind, I'm seeing this as giving me like a social strategy maybe for marketing this particular video. So let's go ahead and hit content marketing ideas and transform into doc. Okay, 10 content marketing ideas. If this works well, this could be really handy. I do use chat in this way sometimes, but I'm curious to see how this would be different. Again, it's trying to replace the header. Like I'm not loving the ideas of the headers, and it's not even incorporating my brand kit into it, which is kind of weird. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but that's okay. That's not really what we're looking at here, but would be very cool to see that added in where it's looking at me, because I've got a brand kit that is selected here, so it should know what colors I use, and this color is nowhere in here. So that is something that would be very cool, is if it was using your brand kit at least to automatically bring in something that would be in your brand. So create a blog series, host webinars, email newsletters, guest blogging, social media challenges, infographics, user-generated content, behind the scenes. Okay, so I see what it's doing. This is not how I would do things. So let's, I know I said that was the last thing I was going to do, but I lied. I'm going to do one more thing, because, oh, where did my original, oh, here it is. I thought I lost it. So going back to my original, and I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to go into magic switch here. We're going to go into transform. And so I'm able to actually tell it what I want to do. So maybe the marketing strategy thing isn't really what I was looking for. What I would like to see is social media content ideas for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell it that. Give me, let's see, 10 content ideas for how I could turn this tutorial video into social media content. And I'm going to tell it specifically for Instagram and LinkedIn. Let's go ahead and hit transform doc. So I'm not asking it to create the content necessarily. I'm looking for ideas. So let's see what it gives us back as ideas, if it actually tries to design the content or if it just gives us a list like it did last time. Okay, that was pretty fast, so I kind of feel like it's going to be a list. Let's see. Again, not sure why all of these have a header. I don't know if that's because like it's just like the way they format things, or if it's because I had a header in the transcript document that it's trying to like give me one. I'm not really sure. Okay, so we've got, okay, so yeah, so it's ideas. So we've got quick tips series, a series of short videos or carousel posts highlighting the features of the template. Okay. A before and after. So this is kind of similar to the design idea they gave us for the thumbnail. Step-by-step guides. See, I would not do a step-by-step guide on social media, not even on LinkedIn. I feel like that's way too much for that content format, in my opinion. Testimonials, yeah, that'd be good. Interactive Q&A. Yeah, okay, so I could do a live Q&A session on either platform. Polls and quizzes. Okay, a highlight reel, behind the scenes, how I made the template. That feels more like YouTube, but still. Infographic, again, and collaboration stories. So also kind of like user testimonials. I mean, not bad. It feels a little generic. Like I feel like I would probably get similar responses here, regardless of what my video was about. So I'm not sure if this feels like as specific to me as when I ask for content ideas from ChatGPT. But again, I haven't given Canva's AI a chance to really know me the way that I have for ChatGPT. So it's not completely a fair comparison. But this does feel still a little bit generic. I feel like you would get very similar responses if you asked it for the same thing. But this is still really cool. And just while we're in here, just because I mentioned it earlier about how, like, when you're trying to format a document in like Microsoft Word and you're trying to bring in photos and things like that, like how messy it is, we're going to try just bringing in an image here just so that we can see what that looked like. So we could do columns easily. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so we've got columns, and then inside the column, let's see if I go to one of my folders that has some images, and let's just grab an image and drop it in that column and see how it looks. Okay, and now what if we had text in here? How do I add text in here now? So I can do text before it, but how do I add text after? Oh, just by using the down arrow. That's how I did that. So text here. And then, oops, if I'm next to the text here and I drag in another photo, can I put it next to it? No, I cannot. And so what happens if I hit, okay, so just so you know, I'm trying to hit delete here so that I could move it up so that this text here would be right next to the image. It's not letting me do that, but I wonder, okay, so if I do that, it automatically resizes the images. That's cool because Microsoft Word is not user-friendly in this way at all. So I can very easily customize these column widths to whatever I want. And that's cool because when you're using like a tool like Microsoft Word, if I wanted it to be done in that way, I would probably have to like add in extra columns that I don't use in order for them to space out larger or smaller or things like that. And that's just like silly. Why would you do that? Okay, so that's very cool. And then just for fun, just so we can see how it works, let's drop in a couple of other things that they have here just so you guys can see. Scrollable design. Oh gosh, this is like a lot that I probably don't have time to do in this video. So looks like though they have some practice designs that you can play with. So that's cool. So if you're coming in here and playing on your own, you don't have to have a scrollable design already. They'll drop like a placeholder one in there. That's cool. I like when they help out in that way because, you know, it's hard for me to envision how I would use that if I don't already have something like that. So that's helpful. And then this is just like typical stuff. What does the quotes one look like? Oh, okay. So you can choose, but can I change the color of it? Oh, it looks like I probably can. So color, it's looking at document colors, but what if I did that? Sweet. And then these are just going to be like any other graphic, I bet, that I can just, yep, okay. And then I could hit change all so that it does both of those. And then I could do the text as well if I wanted to. Oh, I have to highlight it and then I could do it. Okay. Okay. So that's cool. And then what else do we got here? Just real quick. At mention, I would only use that if I was, you know, collaborating with other people. And then we can put charts and timers and logos, and that's cool. So, guys, I mean, look, you're going to have to put the time and effort into teaching this tool about you. So you're definitely going to start with a brand voice of some kind. I would probably, now that I've seen how this interacts, I would go into the brand voice itself and update it for things like that I don't use royal we and that I want it to use personal pronouns and things like that. Those are things I think you would want to put into the brand voice itself so that you don't have to include it in every single prompt. So we do have a limit though into how much we can fit into our brand voice. So just looking at that real quick, we have only 500 characters. So that means like you're going to say all of this, but then I would need to pretty much max it out, I think, making sure that it really understands like how I talk that I want. Because this doesn't tell it that I like it to be in a professional yet conversational tone. Those are things that I did say to chat, remember? That would have impacted how my results came out in the beginning, and I wouldn't have had to give it the additional instructions. I don't really see here that we're meant to tell this how we want it to behave with us, like how I told chat that I want it to be like my marketing consultant and things like that. So this is really just telling it how you want to come across to your audience. So you need to spend some time really honing this in and making sure that you are including all of the things that are really important to you in how your voice comes across and how your content sounds. And then your responses that you get from things like Magic Write would be much, much better. I don't know how much it's going to really, really learn you though. So as you go, you're probably going to have to be updating this voice quite a bit or giving it additional instructions. Now, this might be something that they're working on and that there's going to be more of that like memory feature that it's going to update its memory on you as it goes and as it learns what you like. I don't know. I definitely feel like it still struggles a bit to understand like visually what I like. And so I would love to see it bring more of the brand kit that is selected on the doc that I'm working on into any designs that get added in, right? Because obviously, like it would have been nice if I had a quote option that was like a branded one. See, because we had like 3 different ones, but all of them were just kind of their own color scheme, like they look the same. I'm not entirely sure why there are 3, because if you can go in and edit and change that anyways, like why are there 3? Why isn't there just one and then you go in and update it? Or like it has like a generic one and then it has one where it's like looking at your brand, right? Like that would be really handy, I think. And then definitely as it's generating new documents and things like that, it should certainly be looking at the brand kit that is selected for the headers and things like that. This is not at all using my brand colors or my fonts or anything like that, obviously. And it would be nice if it automatically pulled in my logo and stuff too. So all things that like I'm sure down the line will end up on their roadmap as things that they add in and improve about this tool. But I still think it's pretty cool, especially if you're not using any other AI yet. Like this is a good, I would say like gateway drug into seeing how AI might benefit you in your business, especially as a solopreneur. Because look, I've talked a lot about how I use AI and how I don't use AI. And one of the primary ways that I do use it is to make me more efficient and help me do more in less time. I can definitely see how if you invest the time in training it, how you want things to come across and things like that, that this could be a great way for you to kind of dip your toe into that AI world. Is it going to replace ChatGPT for me? Not yet, but I could see it definitely has potential for that. Okay, so now you know what I think of Canva Docs. What do you think? The online tools for your business do not need to be complicated and overwhelming. It's time to let it be easy. I hope you liked that video, and more importantly, that you found it helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing it with a fellow solopreneur. And make sure you check out the description for links to how we can connect and maybe even work together.